We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel. Or don't. Just sit back, say nothing, do nothing, and watch as we bare our souls to you. We got it from here. Sag Nasty.
You know, and I was like, you're that, I'm too old for that. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It was like, I think there was a separation with that aspect.
The age started to show.
I can remember him coming home, and I'd stay up, and I would draw, and he would go. I'd show him my drawings, and we would play checkers. I can remember us playing checkers a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But really, who I can remember really almost during, for the first 12 years of my life, actually up until probably my freshman year in high school,
Okay.
it was my brother Johnny.
Okay.
That was when I was growing up. My dad didn't get up with me when I was younger, never changed a diaper, never fed me. My brother Johnny would get up in the middle of the night. My brother Johnny would take me to get shoes, and my brother Johnny would take me out to throw the football across the street at the church. And my brother Johnny was really like a dad, to be honest with you, because again, my dad was just busy. I don't hold it against him.
And you know what else? He was young, which is kind of interesting. He was also young.
Well, yeah. You know what I mean?
Very young.
He was still trying to establish kind of make his career at the time.
Think about yourself at 26 if you were like a father. Like same exact life and you're a father.
Well, I was.
At 26?
Yeah.
Cool. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. We were married I was married when I was.
That means you understand. It's hard. I didn't know you were married that young.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
we've been
amazing.
married. We celebrated 14 years, June 28th. But we've been together for 21.
Unbelievable. So you know it's hard.
We found out we were pregnant with Cameron right before our wedding.
Wow, because like 26, when I think about myself, it's like I still had a lot of growing up.
I was a kid. We were kids.
Yeah, exactly.
We were kids.
I had a lot of growing up to do.
That's the thing that and I'll get into that, but let's reverse like you talked about. So you talk about these changes in growing up fast. So it was like I had my mother, I had my father, I had my two brothers and my two sisters, and it was really like having three fathers and three mothers. They weren't really like brothers and sisters to me, right? Yep. So if I got in trouble, I had to hear it from everybody, right? Yeah. But again, my four older siblings were gone. So when I remember my dad taking me out, like the little kind of porch area before you come into my house. Remember that? Little area right there by the garage, the driveway. And I remember my dad taking me outside, and he just said, he goes, Stuart, I'm going to be living down at the gym now. Has nothing to do with you. We still love you. I'm still going to see you all the time, but I'm just not going to live here at the house. And I was like, okay, cool, and I went back in, and I remember my time with we didn't have like supervised visits. It was, I could see my dad when I wanted. Yeah. So I remember going and him picking me up, and he lived at the gym. He lived in one of the, I remember he cleared out one of the rooms for the antique store, and he made like a little bedroom. And I remember us watching, we'd rent movies. I remember watching, Predator. And I remember watching, I specifically remember watching this movie I think it was called Overdrive with Emilio Estevez. And remember all those trucks started driving themselves, and there was that one big truck with the green Joker face on it. And it was like, and they were circling. Remember there was like lawnmowers like killing people.
That's not that actually does sound a little familiar. You're right. Okay, I do remember that. Okay, I
can specifically remember watching that movie with my dad. And I remember, so my dad, and I don't think he'll mind me saying this, but again, my mother was older,
Yep.
right? So, I remember when the fight started. The one fight I do remember, if I was 8 years old, my mom at that time was 46, and my dad would have been like 31, 32. So my dad's kind of in his prime, and my mom's kind of, slowing down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, he was he spoke very well. So he had a lot of girl. I mean, he was, the only bad thing my dad did was cheat on my mom. That was his downfall. He just, and again, my mom being older, and I can remember there was this fight. And I'm just gonna say it, whatever. But it was the only fight I remember. I remember hearing my parents, whatever, and I went down like to the, because they had the room, like, remember the kitchen, and you
In
go
the front
down
of the house. Oh, down there.
So-
yeah. I remember. Yep, it's right in the
that
back.
was their room.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember listening. And I can remember my dad going, you know what, Carol? Sometimes men just wanna fuck, and my mom's like, you're that, Stu, I'm too old for that. That's gross. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It was like, I think there was a separation with that aspect.
The age started to show.
Yes.
Mhm.
And there was so when my dad, I think my parents were still together, or maybe they were just, I think they were still together at this time. And I remember Debbie and Corey Woods and Erica and Andrea and Danielle Woods.
Yeah.
So Debbie and my mother were very close friends.
Okay.
So we would go over there. I remember there was this time we were over there, and also my mom goes, hey guys, let's take a drive. We're gonna go get, we'd go out and get some, hot now or something, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right. So she loads all the kids up, and it's like me, Corey Woods, Erica Woods, I think Danielle Woods, right? And we're driving around, and it was wintertime, and all of a sudden it was on Midland Road. So if you're going down Gratiot, where there was a gas station, and you make a right, and there's it goes all the way down to like where the bar on the corner of State and Michigan there. What was it? Houlihan's, or you know what road I'm talking about.
Yeah.
State Street and Gratiot on Midland Road. And I remember us pulling into a driveway, and she turns the brights on, and there's this guy shoveling the driveway, and I'm going, is that Dad?
Okay.
And it's my dad shoveling some other woman's driveway.
Okay.
And, my mom's like honking, like, oh, Stu, you got time for your girlfriend or whatever. We're all kind of like, it probably wasn't the best thing for my mom to do, but I'm like, I just remember us thinking like, hold on, I don't know what's going on here. Like, what's my dad doing at like someone else's house? And I don't know what the hell's going on, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, we like left, you know what I mean? But I can remember that. But again, I remember my dad just saying, I'm not going to be living here. I didn't.
But you didn't feel like hurt from it or sad, because you were like sensitive at that time, but that one didn't get you that badly.
It didn't. I mean, it was just like, well, I was like, I'm going to see you still. And he said, yes. And I said, and you're still going to live here? And he said, yeah. So I'm like, there's really, it was almost as if I got more time when we were separated, because it was like a lot of time, you know what I'm saying? Rather than just kind of,
when I see you, I see you. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
it was more structured that way, and it was
more structured.
Yeah.
It was more, and it didn't bother me at all. But because of that, my mother didn't really work. She kind of worked at the gym, but that was done. So she had to go, and she worked at Boysville.
Yep.
Remember Boysville?
Yeah, that's where my mom's boyfriend worked at. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
This is weird. They must have known each other, and that's crazy.
She worked at Boy. She might have worked at somewhere else before, but I remember, she'd work. At first, she would work overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her leaving at like 10 and then coming home at like 10. So I'd go to sleep on my own.
I remember that too.
I'd get up on my own.
Mm-hmm.
It would be me and Bear, Bear up. And I remember locking all the doors, that was, I got myself up, got myself dressed, fed myself, I had to find my own ride to school or walk to school.
Mhm.
I remember cleaning the house on my own. I remember, I think one time I came home with homework, maybe in 4th or 5th grade, and I asked my mom to help me with like some math.
Mhm.
And we got in the biggest fight. And I'm like, I said, man, I'm never going to ask you for help again. So it required me to figure things out on my own, you know?